My amplified unit, welcome to SummerSlam 2019. The good, the bad, and the ugly. This isn't your stereotypical review show based on a plethora of opinions. No, this review show is based on facts. And we are going to dissect every single match on that main show from last night's SummerSlam. The rules are simple. Number one, every single match on the main show gets at least one tally in the good column, bad column, or ugly column. Number two, every ugly tally will count as two bads when this review show is over and we do the final count. So you want to stay away from that ugly column, because every single tally in there will count as two bads. And that is how we are going to help decide if this pay-per-view was good or bad. Stay away from the ugly column. Number three, a tiebreaker. In the event of a tiebreaker, and we tallied everything up on the main show, and we just can't come to a conclusion, then and only then will we go to the pre-show, the kickoff show, which they had 3 matches, so we'll definitely have a decisive winner after going over that. But we only go over the kickoff show if we need a tiebreaker. That is it. Otherwise, we do not touch the kickoff show, because then we'd be here for fucking 5 hours. That is the rules. They're very fucking simple, or at least I tend to think so. I'm a little biased. I made them. And now we get to the show itself. Good column is what we want to see. Let's see an abundance of tallies in that column. The bad, we don't want to see many of them, but a few mulligans are okay. This is where you want to stay away from. Did WWE do some ugly shit last night that we have to get amplified on? Let's check it out. Let's start off right from the top and work our way down to the main event. The first match of the night on the main show came in at bell time 7:11 with a finish at 7:25 for a total match time of 14 minutes. I am talking about Becky Lynch versus Natty for the Raw Women's Championship. This match was really good for 13 minutes. Again, it was a 14-minute match, so do the math. For 13 minutes, I was actually captivated by this shit. It kept getting better by the minute. They were starting to really gel with one another. The crowd was on their feet screaming, "This is awesome." And then when it was really starting to get good, Becky no-sells the sharpshooter, literally no-sells the sharpshooter, like just jumps right out of it and goes into the disarmer and really puts torque on her back. Goes to the most extreme point possible in the disarmer, as if the sharpshooter was never even applied 10 seconds earlier. Transitions into the disarmer, and Natty, in mere seconds, is tapping the fuck out in her homeland. Legit, out of nowhere, killing the vibe in what was otherwise a good match with a great atmosphere to kick off SummerSlam. Everything was going great, and then the ending just ended abruptly out of nowhere. Now I could see if it's like an RKO, Randy Orton finish out of nowhere, then maybe we're on board. The sharpshooter was applied, fans were really fucking tip-top shape at that point, not knowing Becky can't tap, right? Or could she? They're in Canada. How is this going to transition? How is Becky going to get out of this? How about I just fucking flip your sharpshooter into a disarmer like you never even got me in the move? So unrealistic. I did not like it, to the point of literally being mind-boggled that somebody could come up with that finish and think it was okay. Huge missed opportunity for everyone involved. They had something going great here. And this is what I mean, guys. This is what WWE has done for years. Yes, it has been a tragic product, but they've actually done some good shit. You just wouldn't have noticed, because when it started to get really good, they would ruin it. They've had good characters. They would just ruin it. They've had good storylines. They just ruin it. They've had good matches. They just ruin it. Everything goes off the rails in this company. They don't know how to finish something that's good. I've seen traces of good over the past several years. They just don't know how to capitalize or just up front, just finish. you started. Very tragic to see, because for the first 13 minutes, I had no question at all. There was no doubt where this was going. This was going into the good column. That final minute changed everything. There is no way I can, in good conscience, walk about my day knowing that I put that match into the good column when I know how tragic that finish was, when I know how mind-bogglingly stupid that finish was. There's no way I could be doing my job justice doing this review and having thousands of you guys watching me and knowing that I did a great job, knowing that I put that into the fucking good column. No. I have to tell the fucking truth unapologetically. This is absolutely a bad. And trust me, that pains me to say, because that was actually a good match. There's no reason that shouldn't be going into the good. But because it's SummerSlam, I'm not giving mulligans. If this was Vengeance, Backlash, Money in the Bank, In Your House, anything, maybe that goes into the good. Maybe I'm a little bit more generous. Maybe I'm going to give you a mulligan. I'm willing to look past the finish and hey, 13 minutes of a good match. You can't fault them for 1 minute, BC. No, at SummerSlam, I absolutely can. You gave them 14 minutes with a horrible finish. All of that build. Natty proclaiming she will walk out with that title, and she just gets into the disarmer and like nothing taps the fuck out. Becky Lynch looked like she was never in the sharpshooter. That sharpshooter did nothing to Becky Lynch. Let me just forget about that and just put that into the good column. Absolutely not. Not for SummerSlam, their second biggest pay-per-view of the year. So right off the gate, that's how we started. I didn't know how to feel about it all. It was a good match with just a terrible finish. So it was right off the gate a mixed review for me. And again, a huge missed opportunity for everybody. You had a chance to really make Natty look dominant in her homeland. Go out almost nearly on a stretcher because she gave it her all. Becky Lynch having to literally overcome the odds of one of her biggest challengers to date. And this is someone who took on Ronda Rousey, sort of. Triple threat, WrestleMania. But Becky Lynch has had some badass matches, but Natty took her to the limit. Everybody would have looked like a winner. The crowd would have gotten an amazing fucking match with an amazing finish. There's a concept. And more importantly, the atmosphere and the vibe would have stayed on fire because the whole fucking beginning of SummerSlam went off beautifully. You took a gamble. You put the women as your first match, and you know fans can be fickle with these women's matches, but you put them first. You put a big risk and a big gamble, and you put your faith into them and putting them in the first match. And if you just gave them a badass finish that made sense, dude, this works. Everything worked off beautifully. Everything went without a hitch. If it seems I'm harping on it, not enough. There is no reason that nobody that is in the planning of that, the writers, the booker of that match, and Natty and Becky Lynch, they all said, yeah, sounds legit. That's a pretty cool finish. There's no reason not one person couldn't have stepped up and said, wait, should we really just no-sell the sharpshooter? Should we really just do it out of nowhere like that? I mean, should we build it up a little bit more and get the crowd really into the finish? Nobody thought that maybe this isn't a good idea? Anyway, I'm going to move on because I'm still just mind-boggled, as you can tell this morning. Up next, match number 2, Goldberg versus Ziggler. Bell time, 7:36. Finish, 7:38. This was a total of a 2-minute match, which is what we expected, and it should not have been any longer. Dolph hits Goldberg right off the bat with a couple of super kicks, and I gotta admit, at first I'm like, wow, are they going to try to, swerve us? Are they having Dolph do what Goldberg usually does, and Dolph is gonna beat Goldberg in fucking 5 seconds? That would have been a trip, man. Because that first super kick, I was kind of shocked because I thought that's where they were going. A big fucking major swerve. But no, Goldberg kicks out, and Goldberg doesn't even wait till the 2 count. I love it, man. He's such a fucking bee. He just kicks out right at 1. He doesn't give a fuck. He's doing the Becky Lynch no-sell. But at least for Goldberg, that fits his character, man. Get the fuck off me. He's the fucking alpha male. I love that shit, man. That's who Goldberg is. So Goldberg shrugs off Dolph Ziggler's last super kick. And then, I'm telling you guys, man, Goldberg hits Ziggler with a spear that knocked Ziggler into the 7th row of Section 4F. With a jackhammer as the cherry on top, Goldberg takes the 2-minute W, which is what we all expected and exactly what should have happened. This match should not have gone more than 2 minutes. This was an exhibition match for entertainment purposes only, with a nostalgia act. This is Goldberg riding off into the sunset and having one last hurrah, but in a good way, not the way it ended at Super Showdown with The Undertaker. Goldberg went to Vince and asked for this match. Vince gave him a few minutes at SummerSlam. No harm, no foul. It was obviously wildly entertaining for everybody in Toronto. You go back, this is what I mean. You're going to see mixed opinions on social media. Forget that. Go back to that crowd. Watch how they were all on their feet screaming Goldberg and fucking off their rocker when Goldberg hit that badass spear. The first one. The other two were badass too. But the first one, knocking Dolph square out of his fucking boots. You watch that crowd and you see why this was wildly entertaining. And an Amplified Man is telling you how I felt. I was wildly entertained for that. You hear Goldberg's music hit, and still to this day, it is still one of the most badass feelings you get when a pro wrestler comes down the aisle. Because you know you have a legit badass coming to that ring. Yes, he's not concerned with putting on 500 wrestling holds. But he is concerned with beating the fuck out of you. I miss those alpha-type characters. WWE doesn't build them anymore. We get a lot of flips and dives these days, but we don't have that realism, that believability. Trust me, I would love to see the both. Believability and realism with somebody who can go 25, 30 minutes. That's hard to come across, let's be honest. So, listen guys, everything in this was what should have happened. It was only a couple of minutes. Dolph, we all knew, was going to be one of the highlights of the night, is him getting speared. We knew he was going to sell the shit out of that spear, and he did. It was fucking the best spear I have ever seen in my 30 plus years of watching pro wrestling. That was the best spear I ever witnessed last night. The first one. The other two, again, were badass. And what am I talking about, the other two? Well, post-match, they had a little bit of fun. Dolph got on the mic and started talking a lot of shit to Goldberg. Goldberg came down, hit him with another fucking spear, walks off. Dolph Ziggler doesn't know when to quit. We all know he's basically big on the microphone these days. It's all about me. It's my chance. It's my time. So Dolph gets back on the mic a third time, or a second time, I should say, because this was afterwards, after the match, he got on and then he got speared. So the second time he got on the mic, Goldberg was already gone, so he probably thought, he's gone, I can talk more shit. Goldberg's music hits, he comes back down, picks him up. Dolph's near dead at this point, so Goldberg goes to walk off like, all right, kid, I'm going to leave you alone. And he says, fuck that. Hits the ropes, hits him again. Another devastating third spear onto Dolph. Dolph is down and out. Goldberg does a little bit of a bow and rides off into the sunset. That should be the last time you see Goldberg. And that sucks to say, but the business does have to evolve now. We do have to put focus on these younger guys and gals now. But if that's the way Goldberg rides off into the sunset, no harm, no foul. You gave him 5 minutes in a 4-hour show at SummerSlam. No harm, no foul. I'm good with it. If he does come back for one more match, he has to do the job. Because that's the perfect way to go out. You got redemption from your Undertaker match. You beat up Dolph, which was the best choice because Dolph made you look like $1 million, and in the process, Dolph looked fucking amazing, showing you he's one of the best fucking sellers in the business. And still entertaining when he wants to be. Everybody wins, you ride off into the sunset. If you come back, direct message to Goldberg, he now has to do the job. And now you have to pass the torch to somebody. That's the only way I'm okay with Goldberg coming back. Other than that, I think that's the last time you saw Goldberg. Again, if you do see him again, he has to do a job. But I don't see anyone that could have a problem with that at all, man. It's 5 minutes, the whole thing. The match was 2 minutes, and then they had a couple of minutes afterwards for some extracurricular fun, man. In a 4-hour show, if you can't break up the pacing a little bit, and see one of your fucking old-time legends finally ride off. He wanted to do that at Super Showdown, but it was so tragic. He could not end his career like that, and I respect that. So he went to Vince and said, give me one more match, please. I respect the shit out of that. If you don't have 5 minutes for that, come on, bro. And furthermore, you could talk about match times. Well, BC, they could have took those 5 minutes and each other match could have had an extra minute. Guys, if you can't pace out your matches better than they did and still have Goldberg go out there for 4 to 5 minutes, then the company is more tragically going in the wrong direction than we originally thought. You're not going to sell me that you couldn't give Goldberg 5 minutes last night. That was wildly entertaining, man. It's one of the rare fucking moments I'm actually going to remember from SummerSlam. I don't have to explain anymore. You guys know where this is going. My review of that match just went longer than the fucking match. So, you can't please everybody. If it went longer than 2 minutes, people would have been complaining. Goldberg wrestled 10 minutes. You know, you can't please everybody. I can just give you guys facts. If you go back and watch that 2-minute match and the shit that happened afterwards, the crowd was hot for that shit. The Amplified Man was hot for that shit. If you weren't, sucks for you. Maybe it gets better in the future for you, hopefully. Let's move on. So what are we? First 2 matches were tied. 1-1. Match number 3, AJ Styles takes on Ricochet for the US strap. Bell time, 7:57. The finish came at 8:07 for a total of a 10-minute match. This pisses me off that they only gave them 10 minutes. Ricochet, AJ Styles, SummerSlam for the strap, 10 minutes. I expect that on Raw, not SummerSlam. I can't fault the performers for that, no. And I'm not blaming Goldberg for taking up 5 minutes of a 4-hour show. The blame is squarely on Vince McMahon. No exceptions. If you can't figure out a way to give Styles and Ricochet 20 minutes on your second biggest pay-per-view, then the issues in that company are bigger than we originally thought. And that was thought to be impossible. But I guess not. Again, I'm not going to fault Styles and Ricochet. And the finish was actually fucking badass as Ricochet went for one of his little flip dive thingies from the top rope. I quit fucking even naming this shit. Now they're just going up and seeing how many fucking flips they can do. But Ricochet does one of his little flip thingies and Styles catches him right into a Styles clash. That was cool. But I'm consistent in my reviews, and you guys know that. And I like to think that's one of the main reasons why you guys love me. I stay consistent. If I'm going to call Becky Lynch and Natty out on not completing what they started, 13 minutes of a damn good match, but that final minute was tragic. The finish was not good. Horrible, actually. If I'm going to fault them for that, then I can flip that with AJ Styles and Ricochet and say, listen, the match was not up to par with Ricochet and Styles and what they can do, but your finish was actually cool. So they just flipped what I felt Natty and Becky did. Styles and Ricochet, I feel, did not deliver. And how could they in 9 fucking minutes? And then the final minute, they actually did have a good finish. So they just flip-flapped Natty and Becky. No, if I'm going to call Natty and Becky a bad, I'm sure as hell going to call Styles and Ricochet bad because I stay consistent. There was elements of good in that Styles and Ricochet match. Ricochet's outfit and fucking gear was not one of those goods. But there was elements of good. But if you cannot put together a complete package in these matches, then you're not going into the good column. It's that simple. This is SummerSlam, second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Now, if you guys follow all of my good, the bad, and the ugly reviews, you guys know I'm kind of being a little bit harsher today. And again, there is a reason. I've said it 10 times already. I'll reiterate for the 11th time. It is the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Outside of SummerSlam. This comes before Royal Rumble. This comes before Survivor Series. I don't need no half-ass shit. Hey, put together a damn good 10-minute match and the finish doesn't need to be good. They'll be happy with a 10... No, we won't. Schmaz around for 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a good match, but give them a good finish. No. I want the complete package. Or you're going right here. And I am being generous, actually, because you're lucky I'm not putting anything there yet. Match number 4. We go Bayley, Ember Moon. This is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Start time, 8:16. Finish came at 8:26. This was a total of You guessed it, 10 minutes exactly, just like Styles and Ricochet. Bayley and Ember Moon are two participants that really need time to get in there and start gelling and grooving. And I promise you, once you get around that 10-minute mark, business is going to pick up with Bayley and Ember. And I know this because I follow them their entire careers. And I know how they work. And I know their chemistry together. Once you start getting into this match, it'll get better and better. And they're going to show even the casual fan why Bayley belongs with a championship and why Ember Moon belongs and deserves getting it in the future. But instead, they gave them just 10 minutes. So right when it starts to pick up, they end that shit. This is a title match at SummerSlam between Bayley and Ember Moon. And it only went 10 minutes. Simply unacceptable. Just like Natty and Becky earlier, and you can add in Styles and Ricochet, just when it's getting good, it ends abruptly. Bayley to belly, I believe. I don't. The finish isn't even fucking a concern here. I think it was just a Bayley to belly. Top rope, maybe, did she go? I think it was a Bayley to belly to the top rope. I don't know if that was the actual fucking thing that ended Ember. That goes to show you, it's so fucking meaningless. It ended so abruptly, I was more boggled by it than being invested into it. Instead of going, wow, what a fucking ending, it was like, what the fuck? That Ember Moon just got beat like that in 10 minutes? Ends abruptly, man. A 10-minute title match between Ember and Bayley. It's fucking absurd on every level. There's no way around it. It's absurd on every level. And before I even discuss anymore, if I even do, obviously, again, for anyone saying I'm being too harsh, I'm actually being generous. Any one of these circumstances could easily go into the ugly. So no, I'm not being harsh enough. This is SummerSlam. Bayley and Ember are two amazing talents when you give them time. And I've been harsh on Bayley in the past, but it's not been because of her skills. It's been because I felt she was lacking confidence when she should be bulking up. It's because I felt her character needed some tweaking and adjusting to be a little bit more like the Bayley we know in NXT. That abundance of confidence, and I know I can beat you, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to deliver every time. I started to see that fade away, but with this newest title reign that she's had, we've started to see those traces again. Ember Moon finally gets a chance, but did she really ever? I questioned this on the preview show that I put up yesterday. And it seems like this. They announced Ember Moon out of nowhere, out of giving her nothing for over a year. And then, for the following 2 weeks, after they announced Ember Moon as the #1 contender, they made Ember Moon look absolutely horrible. They booked Ember Moon the exact way they booked her the first year and a half of her main roster career. Insignificant. Almost like she's non-existent. After they announce her for this title match, they have her losing against Alexa Bliss, and then the next week she's in a sharpshooter to Natty. Ember Moon sold the sharpshooter way better than Becky Lynch sold it. That was Ember's booking into SummerSlam, and then you wonder why the casual fans never really got behind Ember, because the company never got behind Ember. The more I think about it, I want to put it into the ugly, so I'm just going to fucking move on, because I'm just going to get more fucking annoyed by the stupidity. Up next, Kevin Owens vs. Shane McMahon. Start time came at 8:36, finish at 8:46. Total match time, 10 minutes. You guys seeing a theme here? Third match in a row at 10 minutes. Right off the bat, Elias is announced as a special enforcer at ringside. And the only difference between this 10-minute match and the previous 10-minute matches is that this match, the suits and ties actually gave a fuck about the match. Ember and Bayley are told to go out there, do some stuff, and we'll tell you when to go home. But Owens and Shane was clearly well ironed out with a plethora of suits and tie dipshits who gave it all the bells and whistles it needed to get the crowd on their feet. From Elias interfering a number of times, to the ref actually getting knocked out at one point, to Owens low blowing and doing the hot finish. Don't get me wrong, it was all good in 10 minutes, but they had all the bells and whistles. Thought was put into this. They made sure that they overbooked this just a tad. Nothing for Ember and Bayley. Not much for Owens and... Styles and Ricochet. Other than Gallows and Anderson looking like absolute fucking fools. I'd rather, by the way, can I just go back for a minute? Gallows and Anderson, I'd rather not even them buy AJ Styles' side if all they're gonna do is look like absolute buffoons. It looks like the Three Stooges. But I hardly call that bells and whistles. But when you're making Elias the actual, basically another referee, you got the actual referee getting knocked out. Owens is doing the dastardly low blow. Man, you know, I just wish some of that effort went into Bayley and Ember. You know what I mean? Make people care. Fans like me, yes, we're into Bayley and Ember and Ricochet and AJ Styles because we know the performers they are. But in pro wrestling and especially WWE, your audience needs to care. If they don't care, there's a disconnect. Like a lot of people like to shit on Goldberg. Oh, him again, and this is stupid, it's not entertaining. But if you watch the crowd, it's wildly entertaining. Why? Because there's a connection. So Owens and Shane got the world in 10 minutes, and it showed. The crowd was hot in it, man. So I'm not, no harm, no foul, I guess, for them. You can't be a hater in this situation. Good for Owens, good for Shane. Crowd was hot. I liked the ending with Kevin Owens stunnering Shane McMahon and keeping his job. Did we ever really doubt that, though? But I love how he did the low blow. He gave the ref the chair because the ref didn't want Kevin Owens using the chair. Ref turns around to put the chair outside, and Owens does the low blow. I just felt that was awesome, you know what I mean? Even though he's a good guy, he still pulls out those Ric Flair side tricks. All in all, I'm calling it down the middle. I don't like the fact that it was just 10 minutes. My marker's not fucking working. Can you guys see that? That's a fucking good. Marker's giving me trouble. Yeah, but all in all, dude, you hope that in the future they rectify these 10-minute matches and at least put more thought into them, like the Owens-McMahon one. But at the end of the day, it's Vince, man, and you know, he's got this mindset that this works, and it doesn't. You know, you just want to. It doesn't work, Vince. But Owens and Shane, man, yeah, I like it. And I'm an overbooker anyway, so I love all the bells and whistles in that 10-minute time frame. Moving on. Trish Stratus versus Charlotte. Kind of an exhibition match, a dream match in many people's eyes. Start time of 8:57. Finish came at 9:14. This was a total match time of 17 minutes. Up to this point, this was the longest match of the night. And it's cool in a way. I know you expect me to be like harping on Ember and Bayley again and Ricochet and Styles and not getting enough time. And Becky and Natty didn't even get 17 minutes. But I'm looking at it another way. Like, they actually trusted Trish to go 17 minutes, A. And B, Trish not only went 17 minutes, she looked amazing. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it. Like, wow, they gave Trish the longest fucking women match, dude. That's crazy. Again, this was longer than both women's title matches. It was longer than every match thus far on the card. Again, Becky's was 14, Bayley's was 10. That said, they delivered beautifully. The crowd was hot. Charlotte looked like a beast, and Trish looked amazing. Everybody wins in the end. And yes, the right call was made in the end. Trish beating Charlotte made 0 sense with her performance. Trish's legacy was cemented last night. If it wasn't already in your mind, her legacy was cemented last night. There's no reason she should be beating Charlotte Flair. Whether you like Charlotte or not, whether you think she's shoved down your throat or not, I totally understand. Trust me, I'm probably with you. But just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean they actually suck. Or just because you say someone doesn't mean they... You know what I mean? Like, Charlotte Flair, we all can agree, is one of the best female wrestlers on the planet. And I know this is where people like to throw names at me. BC, this person's better. And I'm not saying that, guys. I'm just saying if you're being realistic and being truthful, Charlotte Flair is amazing. She just is. Trust me, she's not even one of my favorites, guys. I don't want to talk negative. I just, there's not a connection with Charlotte. But I'm the first to admit she's amazing, guys. She can do the ground game. She can do the aerial assault. She's got the fucking, obviously, the mannerisms and the shit talking. I mean, she was talking some good shit in there. She's got so many reflections and mannerisms of her father that it just works. And on the mic, she's good. I know a lot of people are like, no, boring. I hate when she's on the mic, man. She's always talking shit. She's good, though. She doesn't fuck up. She doesn't stutter. She doesn't flub her lines. She's always on point. If you need her to go out and do 3 fucking pages of dialogue, she's one of the only ones you can count on. So, in the end, I just don't feel Trish should have been beating Charlotte Flair, when that could very well be, from Trish's mouth anyway, her last match. Her legacy was cemented. The fact she went 17 minutes with Charlotte Flair toe-to-toe and looked badass, looked amazing. And Charlotte can use this going forward. She already was the one to take Asuka's streak. Multiple time champ. What is she, 9 times or some shit, right? I think it's at least 9 times. She can use all this. Not that she needs it, trust me, Vince is giving her the world anyway, but this is all shit she can use. You're not going to take Asuka's streak, be a 9-time champ or whatever the fuck she is, and then Trish Stratus beats you and then goes home. No, man, you need to use this going forward. And, again, everybody fucking wins last night on that. Trish Stratus just looked fucking amazing, dude. Wow, obviously in incredible shape, but she didn't blow up. Usually when you're gone that long, man, you blow up after 5-6 minutes. Nah, dude, she almost tripled that. It looked like a fucking beast. And again, it sucks that was probably her last match because I wanted to see Sasha and Trish Stratus one time. Just one time, man. I just, that's one of those matches that kind of escaped us. I really wanted to see that. Did I put that into a, oh, you guys know where that's going, man. That was obviously good. Can I fix that one? Yeah, there you go. That second good one was... Oh, we're tied up after 6, guys. Fucking A, dude. This shows you. This is how it was for me. See, can I give myself some self-love? I love me. I really do. There's so many people that do these review shows on this platform, but I am so fucking down the middle. How I was feeling watching this is exactly what... And I don't go over this ahead of time, guys. I mean, I do this with you. That's why I like to look back at it and be like, whoa, we're 3-3. It's a tie already. I love that because I like to do it with you. I don't go over it ahead of time. I have my notes that I take during the event, and then I go over it with you guys, and I decide as I'm talking about it with you, as I'm getting amplified, I decide what column it should go into. And that's what I love, though, man. As I'm feeling it last night is the same as where they're going today. I stay consistent. I love that about me. I just... Was that very egotistical? I don't know, man. It's okay once in a while to stop and say you love yourself. Let's move on, guys. Match number 7. At this point, again, as we just discussed, it's not a horrible it's not a bad pay-per-view per se, but it's not a good one either at this point. We're just dead in the middle. It's just an event. At that point, it's just a vengeance. It's just a backlash. It's just an in your house. I need more if you want me to say this is good. Let's see if match 7 can give us that. This was Randy Orton versus... I can speak. Let me start that over. Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston for Kofi's WWE title. This was a start time of 9:27, finish of 9:40. What is that, 9:45? This was an 18-minute match. So this was the longest match of the night. In a match that a lot of today's fans may consider too slow or even boring, But as an old school fan, I loved the pacing, the psychology, the trash talking, and the seesaw sequences. So this was an old school type of match. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I can see why a lot of people thought it was a little bit slower paced, and some people even calling it boring. But I liked it. And in the end, you guessed it, the theme of the fucking night. The finish came abruptly and ruined it all. After a badass RKO, Kofi got some distance up on the top row and it landed into an RKO out of nowhere. Things were heating up after that RKO. Crowd on their feet, we were really getting into it. And all of a sudden, when we're at the peak of our interest, the ref calls for the bell. Apparently, there was a 10 count going on the whole time. And the ref called for the fucking double count out. At the peak of the match. BC, of course the count was going, man. When two people are out, the ref counts. Please, are you kidding me? When the action is heating up and it's at its peak, you're telling me you haven't seen, at least I have in the past 3 decades plus that I've been watching, the referee always can count slower or just doesn't even count half the time. But in this scenario, he happened to have been counting really softly too. I didn't even fucking hear the motherfucker. Nobody was paying attention to that. The action was heating up in a championship match at SummerSlam. Double count out. Wasn't that the same ending as last SummerSlam 2 in one of their main events? Didn't they have like a double... Wasn't Styles and Samoa Joe... Or am I totally fucking hallucinating on that shit? I thought that was the same situation as Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. They had a double count out in a championship match, and I think that was at SummerSlam. I don't fucking know. The bottom line is, this is unacceptable. It's the theme of the night. They could not culminate. They could not finish what they started. They could not have a whole badass, awesome presentation. Everything is half-assed with this company. It's the theme of the night. Again, we got a good match, I felt, but the ending ruined it. So there's no way in good conscience I can go about my day knowing I put this into the good column when I have a bad feeling about it. This goes into the bad column. No, absolutely not. I'm not apologizing. I know a lot of you guys right now, oh, BC, oh, that one hurt you. BC was actually good though, man. I know. You think I want to do this? You think I want to do this? I don't want to do this. I want to put all of this shit into the good, man. And again, if it was Vengeance, Backlash, In Your House, even Money in the Bank, maybe I'll put it into the good to be generous because the match was good. Not at SummerSlam. I already put it up, right? It's the way it is, guys. I'm not apologizing for that. Match number 8. Finn Balor taking on the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Oh, man. Start time, 9:58. Finish, 10:02, for a total of a 4-minute match. But just like the Goldberg, this is what I mean, I'm consistent. Just like Goldberg, this is exactly how it should have went. 4 minutes may be too long. I don't even like the offense Finn Balor got in on Bray Wyatt. The entrance of Bray, can I just start off with that, was beyond captivating. Beyond. It took me to another level. Guys, when The Undertaker comes out, picture that the way you feel for that. For me, it was amplified at least 3 times. At least 3 times. And The Undertaker has the most badass entrance in all the business ever. In the history of ever. Bray Wyatt blew that out of the park last night. Grand slam. That ball's never coming back. They can't even find that ball. This was a masterpiece. What the fuck did we witness? That was a masterpiece. I was doing some notes, yes, but I could have sworn when I looked up at one point, he had like a head for a lantern, and it looked like him. It looked like it was Bray Wyatt's head, but it was like, I mean, I gotta call it like it is. It looked like it was severed. It looked like the lamp was like in his mouth. It looked like his eyes were shut. He was carrying it to the ring. The music was beautiful. It was basically his old theme music, but totally redone, remixed, however you want to call it. I don't know if you call this like, I don't even know what genre you would put this in. There was like a cool just riff to it. I mean, I was just blown away, guys. I can't do it justice. If you didn't see it yet, you gotta fucking see it. If you did see it, you're probably like the Amplify man and you want to see it 10 more times. Wow, I'm so high on it, I didn't even get to the match yet. So let me get to the fucking match. Again, Balor got a few moves in. That was not important. He shouldn't have even got that. This was the Bray Wyatt show. Sorry, Kevin Owens, not sorry. This was the Bray Wyatt show. Can I just say, he wrestles. There's no more confusion or question marks on this. He does wrestle, or he is anyway, or he did last night, with the mask. So how badass is that, man? It adds this whole nother level of just badassery that has not been tapped into in this business in the longest fucking time. Maybe since fucking Mick Foley in his Mankind character. You know what I mean? It's like that type of like sadistic heel that's so badass, he's going to become widely a face because he's so widely popular. If he's not already to that popularity. So he does wrestle with the mask, and he just, like I said, Balor got a few moves in. And I have to think that was just to set up the finish, which is Balor jumping off from the top to do his coup de grace, but it lands into a mandible claw. So maybe to set that coup de grace up, Balor had to get a few moves in. So I guess it does make sense in the long run. See, this is why I love talking with you guys, man, because it makes me think, see, even when I think I got something figured out, talking to you guys, I always think of more, you know, and more comes to light. So I guess it did make sense for Balor to have a few moves in. And landed right into the mandible claw. He is down and out. And I love how there's no tap outs or pass outs. Mandible claw, and it goes into a count, a pinfall. I love that. And then afterwards, man, the lights just dim down. You have the sadistic screams and laughter and screeching, whatever the fuck it is. And they zoom in on Wyatt in that mask. The lights go back on. Wyatt's disappeared. He's gone. Guys, what the fuck did we just witness? I think I literally just left that on my Twitter like, what the fuck? This Bray Wyatt shit is incredible. That's what I left over on Twitter. That's all I have to say. This is incredible to another level. This is what WWE is capable of. And for everybody the past year to 2 years that said I'm being too negative or too critical, you see that last night and now you know what I'm talking about, guys. That's what this company is capable of. They just refuse to do it. They refuse to care. That goes into the good column. It would go into the great if I had a great. And a lot of people always ask me, BC, why don't you have a great? You have an ugly column. I always tell you guys the same reasoning. It's because the past several years, WWE has not given me a reason to have a great. Every pay-per-view, 99.99%, maybe all of them, does not produce great content. So why would I have a whole column? They produce ugly a lot, so I have the ugly. But if they consistently give me great shit, I'll put a great column in. I promise you guys that. But they don't do that, you know? That would have been into the great column, though. So BC, why don't you put it two goods? No. They have to earn their way into a great column. I'm not going to give them two fucking goods on this. I probably fucking should, though. But I'm staying consistent. That seems to be the theme of this review. I'm staying consistent. Every match is getting one tally, so I'm going to put that to the good. And I'm not going to stroke the company's ego too much. They did something good. Now keep capitalizing on that. Don't rest on your laurels. Keep improving. And you got to believe a lot of that is straight from Bray Wyatt's dome piece. Unfucking real, guys. I'm really floored by that whole thing, man. And again, this was all a 4-minute match, and it's one of the things I'm floored with the most. Match 9. Where are we at? Oh, motherfucker. Last match of the night, the main event, the last tally, and we are going into this son of a bitch tied. That leads to an intriguing fucking show, no doubt. But again, this matches how I felt the whole night. I couldn't really decide if this is a bad pay-per-view or if this is good. I couldn't. The whole night, it just felt like it was kind of middle ground. I was seeing some good shit, and I was seeing some bad shit. Some of you maybe thought it was good the whole way. Some of you maybe thought the whole thing was bad thus far. I was in between. I couldn't really gauge this motherfucker, so I did it the most honest way possible in this review. The same way I was feeling last night. It's a tie right now going into the main event. The main event was for the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar, champion, taking on challenger Seth Rollins. Start time came in at 10:14. The finish was 10:28. This was a 14-minute main event, but a lot packed into it. This was a lot better than their WrestleMania match. I would just want to throw that out there. A lot better. Because you knew they couldn't just rehash the same WrestleMania match, which is Brock beating the shit out of Seth Rollins the entire match, and then at the very end, Seth finds a way to overcome the beast. This has to be a little bit more of a seesaw type thing, and that's what they did, man. There was a lot of back and forth. Seth Rollins showed the grit of overcoming his rib injury, supposedly. And not only was it better than the WrestleMania match, but in fact, it was physical as fuck, man. You had Brock Lesnar throwing in one stiff shot after the other, like he always does. And that's what I mean about that realism. You had Seth Rollins frog splashing from the top of the post onto Brock and through the announce table. That just looked like it fucking hurt. Seth Rollins just as much as Brock. It was actually a fun match. I know, it's like... What's weirder than that, right, is first and foremost just saying, wow, Seth and Brock actually brought it last night. They delivered. But you check social media afterwards, and usually, you know, that's where you get your fucking just misery loves company, and everyone just starts dog shitting on everything. It was amazing to see everybody actually really liking that match, and I'm like, wow. Like, most of us are agreeing that a Brock Lesnar championship match with Seth Rollins, who has not been the most popular person lately, at least not in the social media world. But everyone's kind of agreeing, wow, that was actually fucking good. Physical, great spots, a fun match, man. My only gripe is Seth didn't sell the ribs enough. You got basically annihilated the past couple weeks. You're telling me after you won this championship, you're just standing up and you're like, oh, my ribs hurt a little bit. But yeah, motherfucker, top of the world. That's a little bit not believable for me. But I'm not going to let that obviously overshadow. I mean, come on, the fucking match was pretty fucking physical and brutal. Which, on the other hand, is why he should have been selling that rib injury a little bit more. But again, it brings me back to my original concept. You couldn't just redo the same WrestleMania match, which is Brock beating the shit out of Seth the whole time, and Seth finding a way to win. Seth had to look like an actual legit competitor for and challenger for that championship last night. So the good had to far outweigh the bad there, and it did. But that was my only gripe. And again, when it was all said and done, Seth Rollins defeats clean, middle of the ring, defeats Brock Lesnar and new Universal Champion. I don't understand what the title reign for Lesnar even did or what it was meant for then. Why did he win Money in the Bank? Why did he cash in and get the championship? All of this was to give it right back to Rollins 2 months later. What's the reasoning? I'm willing to find out. Maybe they're going to have something right off the bat with Bray Wyatt taking that title sooner rather than later. Maybe we set something up with Rollins and fucking Wyatt, man. So I'm going to, and I don't think Vince would have Wyatt just fuck around with Lesnar. So maybe Rollins, see what I mean? That's why I'm willing to give this a chance, and a chance means tonight. We need answers tonight as to what the fuck this was all about. But it was a 50-50 up front type of who's going to win, we don't know. We didn't know if Vince was going to keep it on Brock. We didn't know if Seth was going to get it back. This was literally one of those things. Nobody knew. Dirt sheets didn't have a fucking clue. Insiders, sources, nobody knew. Seth walks out with the championship, and again, it was a fun match, physical as fuck, better than the WrestleMania one. This goes into the good. And we did not have the Roman Reigns situation end SummerSlam. We actually thought the whole Roman Reigns mystery attacker was going to end SummerSlam, and that was going to evolve and progress to the next level for tonight on Monday Night Raw. They decided not to do anything with it. Luke Harper attacked Buddy Murphy on the pre-show. During SummerSlam, during the main show, they recapped everything that's been happening with Roman Reigns, and he never appeared in Toronto during SummerSlam. That was a missed opportunity. That's the grandest fucking stage that there is. How do you not use Roman? And this isn't one of the BC. You guys complain when Roman's used. You complain when he's not used. I've been saying from the beginning, this storyline is perfect. I love it. I've also been advocating that SummerSlam is the prime time to elevate the story. There's no reasoning whatsoever you could not have thought of something awesome on one of the biggest stages of the year for one of your biggest storylines of the year. That, my friends, is not good, and that gets its own fucking tally. I'm not being too harsh. You can cry about that tally all you want. Roman Reigns should have been on that show and we should have evolved. I'm not saying he had to be in a match. In fact, kind of cool that he wasn't. He's on all the fucking marquee matches, on all the fucking big stages. Hey, you want to give other people time? That's great. You evolve your biggest storyline of the last month, and it wasn't even on SummerSlam. I'm going to say this again for anyone that thinks I was too harsh. Your biggest storyline of the last month. Guys, think about this. If you didn't like what I just did right now, think about this. What was the segment? What is the story that has ended Raw and SmackDown the last 2 weeks? You tell me. I'll wait. The last couple of weeks leading into SummerSlam, what's been the story? It's been Roman Reigns. It's been Roman. So all of this, you didn't even build you're telling me you didn't give a fuck about your SummerSlam card. Is what you're telling me. Because you did not have that finish any of your shows. You didn't have that be the lasting memory in everyone's dome piece. Instead, you had the attacker mystery man Roman Reigns storyline. And when it came to the biggest stage of them all, you recapped it. You showed everybody the big build. Nothing happened. Nothing. You're telling me that doesn't deserve a fuck? You're telling me that makes sense? No. If it's Money in the Bank, if it's Vengeance, if it's Backlash, if it's In Your House, if it's Fastlane, if it's Great Balls of Fire, maybe. Not at SummerSlam. That goes into the fucking bad. You needed to elevate that storyline. You needed to progress that shit. There was no fucking reason Daniel Bryan did not show up in front of that crowd. Answers some. I didn't want the whole fucking thing, right? We need to elevate and progress the story, but there should be that progression. An answer to Buddy Murphy. Luke Harper attacking him on the pre-show is the only answer? Then what? Something should have progressed on the main show. You set it up beautifully on the pre-show. Beautifully. Harper attacked Murphy. Daniel Bryan watching backstage. You recapped it during SummerSlam. You had this anticipation. Something's going to evolve and progress. We go off the air with Seth Rollins holding up the title. No. 5-5. This pay-per-view was a fucking split. So what do? What did I tell you guys in the beginning on the main show? We have to go to a fucking tiebreaker. We don't have to go far into this. All right, hold up too, guys. I had to do a little bit of a cut because I was going to go to the kickoff show because you guys know rule number 3, if there is a tiebreaker, we go to the kickoff show. So this is unprecedented in the good, the bad, and the ugly history. We're not going to go to the kickoff show. You see, because we go to the kickoff show if there's a tiebreaker based on match merit alone. But we went through all 9 matches, and when it was all said and done, we didn't have a tiebreaker. In fact, I had it 5-4 in favor of the good. So there's no reason for me to go to the fucking pre-show because I don't need that to determine how and I know most of us felt about this pay-per-view. I'm going to call it down the middle right now. That last tally that made it a tiebreaker was the lack of delivering on what you got everybody anticipating. Hopefully that makes sense. You jacked up this storyline. You got everybody anticipating that something has to happen at SummerSlam, right? That's your big build heading into SummerSlam, and then nothing happens. You build up anticipation and you can't deliver, you're going to have to pay the consequence and the price. I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to let them try to or throw them another lifeline. I'm not going to allow them to save face here, and maybe the pre-show saves the day, and I put this into the good pay-per-view category. No. For the first time ever, I'm going to end it just like that. Because I want that last tally to be the symbol of SummerSlam. The symbol of not delivering, not capitalizing when you had the chance so many times last night. I like the way this looks because it matches how I felt watching last night. I didn't think it was a dramatically bad pay-per-view when it was over. I didn't feel like it was a dramatically good pay-per-view when it was over. Bad or good, I was indifferent on it. It was watchable. It had good shit. It had bad shit. This matches exactly how I felt last night. I don't need to go over anything else. This was a split. This was an event. This was not SummerSlam-esque or worthy. This, to me, seemed like any other average B-rated pay-per-view during the year. Just the way it is. The propaganda, the pomp and circumstance was bigger than the outcomes in a lot of this. And that's an issue. For B-rated pay-per-views, that's fine. WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, you're not getting those mulligans, man. Sorry, not sorry to the pre-show. But I feel this is what's the word I want? I feel this is the best representation for how a lot of us felt last night. Middle of the road. I don't think any of us are really tipping one. I don't think any of us today are going, what a great pay-per-view. And I don't think any of us are going, what a horrible pay-per-view. I think we're all just saying, that was a pay-per-view. And that's why I'm fucking a little pissed at that. This is SummerSlam. SummerSlam, man. SummerSlam. Nah. We'll go to Monday Night Raw tonight, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow morning for Monday Night Raw's review. I almost said the good, bad, and the ugly. I probably should do another one. A lot of shit should be transpiring tonight because they're going to kind of unwind a little bit and start afresh, start anew. In one storyline, at least, will not be starting anew. They'll be progressing that, hopefully, tonight. Should have been last night. And that's the whole Roman Reigns shit. But expect a lot tonight, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. The Amplified Man, thanks for enjoying this show. Hopefully you did. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. For now, you guys know what we got to do. Double fist some Starbucks. Kick that ass, baby. Check you later.